It is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! As we get to watch an exciting exhibition match with Virtual World and Shaddolls. Unfortunately, Meshach's not going to be here to commentate, but he left some notes to tell you the play-by-play. I'm going to go ahead and start off my turn by setting 3 cards face down, 1 monster in defense, and pass my turn. And Meshach's going to start off fairly strong by normal summoning Virtual World Heim Nyan Nyan to the side of the field, and then activating the effect of Lily Kirin. So the Virtual World strategy is based off of activating your Virtual World card effects, targeting Virtual World cards on your side of the field, monster, spell, or trap, then sending the corresponding Virtual World cards, monster, spell, or trap from your deck to the graveyard to summon themselves and gain effects. Now the really cool thing about the Virtual World strategy is that the monster effects to summon themselves and activate their summoning effect are all a part of one effect. Meaning cards like Infinite Impermanence and Effect Veiler are completely useless against the Virtual World strategy, as they've pretty much been phased out of competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! For right now. If you guys want to see a competitive Virtual World deck profile, then don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, I have links down below in the comment section and the description, and if you guys want to see a competitive Shaddoll deck profile, then be sure to destroy that like button, as well as post down below in the comment section. Let's try to get to 1,000 likes. So this time around, Meshach is going to use Chu-Chi to increase the level of his Nan Nan to 6, using both the Lily and the Nan Nan for a Ptolemy M7. His playline is that not only can he bounce my face down monster, he can go into Zeus. Unfortunately for him, Solemn Strike is going to meet that M7. I can't allow him to gain that much advantage, being able to bounce cards or add cards from his graveyard to his hand, like the Lily for a next turn follow-up, as well as make Zeus to completely eradicate my board, is way too strong. Meshach, considering his next options, he could use the King Long in his graveyard to search a Virtual World card, but not necessarily sure how the next turn is going to shape. He's going to leave the King Long into the graveyard, he could potentially draw the card that he was going to search, and then have 2 copies of that card, or, since his deck is not too reliant on being able to search a plethora of cards, he can just use the information of his new card in his hand to be able to critically access what he needs later. On his end phase, I'm going to activate Sinister Shadow Games. This card is amazing for the Shaddoll strategy, as not only can I send a Shaddoll card from my deck to my graveyard, I can flip face down monsters face up. I'm going to send Shaddoll Beast and flip rest Shaddoll Windy to my side of the field. Chainlink 1 is going to be the Windy to be able to special summon. Chainlink 2 is going to be the Shaddoll Beast to be able to draw, and this allows me to stop cards like Ash Blossom and Psyframe Gear Gamma, which are really popular in the Virtual World strategy, you know, for me being able to special summon from my deck to my side of the field. He can stop the Shaddoll Beast, just not the Shaddoll Windy. Now, for the players that did not know, the Shaddoll strategy is a flip effect based deck. I know it's kind of weird to be saying that in 2021, especially seeing that this deck, or this archetype, is 7 years old. But the crazy thing about this deck is that I don't think in the 7 years that I've been playing Shaddoll that I've ever been able to get this much value out of flip effects. Those type of monsters are notoriously known for not being fast enough to be able to gain particular effects. But in this type of format where control is king and traps are abundant, flip effects can actually play a critical role to gaining advantage, especially in Shaddoll. I'm going to flip summon Shaddoll Hedgehog to my side of the field. I can probably count on one hand how many times I've flipped summoned Shaddoll Hedgehog and gained its effect. I'm going to add Shaddoll Schism from my deck to my hand, which is going to be important for later. But more important for right now, I'm going to link summon with rest Shaddoll Windy and the Shaddoll Hedgehog to be able to link summon into Shaddoll Construct. Now, Shaddoll Construct should be in the extra monster zone. Don't know where I just kind of like had a brain fart right there. But Meshach is going to smartly use Psyframe Gear Gamma. He knows that in the Shaddoll strategy, the most important thing for the deck is El Shaddoll Construct once again. Being able to send important Shaddoll cards from my deck to the graveyard, but more importantly, if you manipulate Construct multiple times, because it isn't a hard once per turn, you can create some savage boards. So seeing that I searched Shaddoll Schism and a link summon into Shaddoll Construct, he thought that this was a perfect opportunity to stop it. Unfortunately for him, I'm going to use Shaddoll Construct's other effect, discarding Shaddoll Squamata to be able to special summon it and gaining Squamata's effect. Now, some of you guys may be wondering, how exactly did I get Squamata's effect? And I'll be able to clear up that little ruling for you guys right now. It's fairly simple. The ruling is if Shaddoll monsters are sent to the graveyard for a card effect, they'll be able to activate. Cards like Forbidden Droplets, which are really popular in the metagame, don't send to the graveyard for a card effect. It sends to the graveyard for cost. The effect of Shaddoll Construct allows me to special summon itself, then discard a card, making it a card effect, whereas cards like Forbidden Droplets require me to discard a card in order to activate its effect. I'm going to go ahead and special summon Shaddoll Falco through the effects of Shaddoll Squamata, sending the Falco to the graveyard to trigger its effect. And then I'm going to set an additional card face down. Since Meshach did stymie my turn, I'm going to go ahead and go into the end phase, not attacking into his Psy-Frame Driver. He can go ahead and banish that card. And also losing the Psy-Frame Gamma can come up because it is an additional tuner for him to banish for his Vermilion Mech. So choosing not to attack either of those cards was definitely the move. And I'm going to go ahead and pass my turn. Now, I bet you guys are probably wondering, where exactly did I get this mat? Well, I got this sick mat from Imperium Duelist. You guys can go ahead and use the code CaliEffect 10 off to receive 10% off your entire purchase. Also, if you guys are thinking about purchasing either of these decks on TCG Player, use my link down below in the description. It definitely helps me out. For the people that are wondering, where are these gorgeous Shaddoll sleeves from? Unfortunately, they're from Amanda Lapalm. I don't think she sells them anymore, but I probably could start making sleeves, so let me know if that's something that we should get into. So Meshach is going to normal summon Gigi and then activate the effect of Nan Nan, but unfortunately for Meshach, since Nan Nan does activate, I am allowed to respond to it, and I am going to use the effect of Shaddoll Schism. Basically, what Shaddoll Schism does is it allows me to fusion summon during the main phase by banishing cards, appropriate cards on the field or graveyard. So I'm going to go ahead and banish Shaddoll Squamata as well as Rest Shaddoll Windy to be able to special summon El Shaddoll Winda. And here's the crazy thing about this particular sequence, is that since Winda was special summoned as Chainlink 2, it got to see Virtual World Nyan Nyan being special summoned, meaning that Meshach cannot special summon again for the duration of this turn until he deals with the Winda. This is how Shaddolls actually interact with the opponent against decks like Virtual World and Drytron. You wait until they try to activate an effect to special summon, then you trigger the effect of your Schism to special summon Winda, and now they can't special summon for the duration of the turn, and Winda can actually do a lot of damage. Meshach entering the battle phase, he's going to attack into the Nan Nan over the Shaddoll Construct. I'm sorry, buddy, he didn't necessarily know about how this ruling worked, so he actually is going to pay the price, but now he knows how Winda will work against Virtual World monsters, and then he's going to pass his turn right back to me. So Shaddolls typically don't have a huge power play, at least back in 2014. While you did have Construct to inflict huge amounts of damage and sometimes Dark Arm Dragon or Blackluster Soldier, there wasn't a consistent way for you to make boards. And then also Shaddoll Winda would prohibit you. Well, in this particular sequence, I'm going to go ahead and link off the Shaddoll Winda since I smartly placed it in the extra monster zone for a gravity controller. That would typically trigger the effect of Winda, but since I have no Shaddoll spell or trap cards in the graveyard, I won't be able to gain its effect. But it's okay, I got the Winda off the field, meaning that I can special summon monsters to my side of the field. This is going to be an interesting play sequence if I want to put some monsters on the board and break Meshach's, but more importantly, if I'm not able to finish off the rest of his life points, I need to rely on Schism to be able to summon Winda again. I'm going to activate Foolish Burial, allowing me to send a Shaddoll card from my deck to the graveyard, or a monster from my deck to the graveyard. But you guys already know it's a Shaddoll that's going to be going to the graveyard. One would think that maybe a Squamata. No, it looks like it's going to be a Shaddoll Hedgehog. The effect of Hedgehog would add Quad Shaddoll Chaos to my hand, and it's a card that not a lot of people play, which is understandable. I play it in this particular Shaddoll deck because it's a searchable light monster, which is really important when you want to dive into your turn going into combos. Activating the effect of Shaddoll Construct, I'm going to send Schism from the field to the graveyard, and then I'm going to flip summon Shaddoll Falco to special summon that Winda back to my side of the field. The amazing thing about Winda is that it needs to see a special summon to lock you into not special summoning. I'm going to use the effect of Shaddoll Construct to fuse. Since Winda was face down and I'm getting rid of it immediately anyways, it's no biggie. I'll make El Shaddoll Construct with the effect of the Shaddoll Construct, and then I'll even chain El Shaddoll Winda for good measure to be able to chain block and add that Shaddoll Schism that I sent from my graveyard, or from my field to the side of the graveyard, right back into my hand. Next, I'll activate Magistus Invocation. We'll fuse a Spellcaster monster, 2 Spellcaster monsters to be exact, Quad Shaddoll Chaos and Shaddoll Dragon, to make another El Shaddoll construct, only possible because Chaos is a light monster in itself, but not activating any of the Shaddoll monsters I fused. I am going to be able to use the effect of Shaddoll Construct to be able to send from my deck to the graveyard. So as it currently stands, we're going to be able to break that GG and Nan Nan off the board, but how much damage can Shaddolls exactly go for? I went from having just a window on board and a Falco face down. How far can the Shaddoll deck stretch? I'll send Rest Shaddoll Windy to the graveyard to be able to trigger her effect to be able to spell summon Nail Shaddoll Ariel. And now since I had Shaddoll Incarnation from the first construct, I can get really saucy with some plays. If I banish the Rest Shaddoll Incarnation in the Winda, I can flip Ariel back face up, which will allow me to special summon Winda back to my side of the field. I will be locked into only special summoning once for that turn, but again, if I use Winda for that summon, then I'm perfectly fine. Going over my options is going to be pretty simple to see what it's going to be afterward. I'm going to activate that Rest Shaddoll Incarnation, banishing the Winda as mentioned before, flipping the Ariel, and now Ariel will special summon the Winda. Since all my monster slots are occupied, in order for me to special summon, I'm going to have to get rid of something, and that's where these cool combos play in. So I do remember locking myself out of Link summoning because I put the construct in the wrong Link zone, but it's okay. I'm going to go ahead and make Nightmare Unicorn using the Winda, the Falco, and the construct, triggering the Nightmare Unicorn's effect to be able to discard the Shaddoll Schism. Really wishing that I had another Shaddoll card in my graveyard, but it's okay. Nightmare Unicorn will go ahead and return the GG back into the deck. And now I'll use Ariel and the Nightmare Unicorn for another Link summon into a 5300 attack access code talker, banishing the Nightmare Unicorn to destroy the Nan Nan and attack for game. That was amazing, showing you guys how Shaddolls can not only control the tempo of the game, but how they can also be able to OTK at a drop's notice. I know you guys are really wanting to see that Shaddoll deck profile now, but let's see how this game plays out, how Virtual World can respond. Misha is going to activate Quailoon to be able to place Chuchi into his spell and trap card zone. And then he's going to go ahead and activate Lily on his Chuchi. He actually has full combo just with these 2 cards. It goes to show how powerful the Virtual World strategy is. With only 2 cards, Meshach will be able to make a formidable board. He'll send King Long from the deck to the graveyard, and then he'll be able to send a monster since he targeted a trap to summon it and sent a spell. He'll send Nan Nan to the graveyard. Now Meshach will follow up by banishing the King Long to be able to add a Virtual World card or monster from his deck to his hand. He'll add Mayheim Lulu and then discard a card from his hand. He discards the Psy-Frame Driver. Whoa, that is a pretty big brain play. Turning a driver into a Lulu is probably the best exchange you could ever see. This is some ultimate Destiny draw going on right now. Meshach using the Mayheim Lulu, now targeting the Chuchi to send the second King Long from his deck to the graveyard. Unfortunately, its search effect is a hard once per turn, but that is really good for the following turn. He'll summon Mayheim Lulu to his side of the field, and since he targeted a spell and targeted a trap and sent the spell, he'll add a monster in Virtual World Lao Lao from his deck to his hand. So Meshach is currently on 3 summons, as he will trigger the effect of his Virtual World Nyan Nyan to his side of the field. He'll special summon that monster. And right here, I'm just reading the effects of Nyan Nyan to make sure that it all falls in within text. One crazy thing that I tend to forget, and some players do tend to forget, is that Nyan Nyan is a tuner monster when it is special summoned through its effect. I know I've forgotten that on this channel once before. He's going to use Lily and Nyan Nyan to be able to synchro summon into Ravenous Crocosaurus. I cannot say this card's name right. It's Ravenous Croc Dragon Arcthesis. Well, anyways, he's going to be able to draw a card because he did use 1 non-tuner monster for it. I can imagine in a day and age where you use 6 monsters to summon Ravenous Crocosaurus and draw 5 cards, but I mean, I guess I'm just a little optimistic on when that's going to happen. Meshach's now going to go ahead and use the effect of Virtual World Roshi Lao Lao. He'll target the Mayheim Lulu to potentially send a trap card, maybe the Chuchi from his deck, to the graveyard. That's actually exactly how the combo has to be played. He'll special summon the Lao Lao to be able to special summon the Li back to his side of the field. And now he'll be able to use both the Nyan and the Lulu. He'll synchro summon into Virtual World Shinshin. So Shinshin is actually the better matchup against Shaddoll's. I think he could have went double VFD in this particular sequence instead if he decided to use other cards, but Meshach felt that Calamities plus Shinshin would be the better combo, mainly because any card sent from the field to the graveyard is banished instead. That could be huge against Shaddoll's. True King of all Calamities is kind of good, but if I set like 5 face down cards and just pass my turn, then Calamities kind of loses his momentum. And I can completely understand that's why he goes into Calamity Shinshin instead of using the rest of his hand sources to make double Calamities. That's actually what it says on his notes. I'm kind of like cheating right now. So he's going to go ahead and pass it right back to me, and I have a board to break. Chuchi, Calamity, Shinshin. I'm going to counter with the same way that I started my turn. A lot of players saying trap-based decks can't go second. Well, watch me. I'm going to start the first way, or my second turn, how I started my first turn with 3 cards face down and a monster in defense. Meshach does have the Harpy's Feather Duster. Amazing sideboard by Meshach. I'm going to go ahead and start off by activating Sinister Shadow Games. Sinister Shadow Games allows me to send a Shaddoll card from my deck to my graveyard. He has no response, so I will use Dimensional Barrier. And now Meshach's in a tough spot. He's seen this deck too many times in playtesting. He thinks it could be a bluff. He feels like he has to use Calamities. He's going to declare Light. I'm going to use Solemn Strike. Now, I can tell you guys, Meshach's thinking for using the Calamities over losing the Calamities. He has game. He has the ability to go for game, so he's going to use Calamities, declare Light, making sure there's no Nibirus or whatnot drawn. Make sure there's no Lancias. Unfortunately, I just so happen to have the Solemn Strike, and I'm going to be able to activate a few effects. I'm going to flip the Squamata face up in his Chainlink 1 and 2 respectively, Shaddoll Dragon being Chainlink 2. I'll destroy the Chuchi, which will get banished since Shinshin is on the field, and I'll also be able to destroy the Shinshin as Chainlink 1. Meshach is going to counteract with Virtual World Chuchi. He'll be able to shuffle in his other Chuchi as well as a King Long back into his deck to be able to destroy the Squamata, and since that's the last Chainlink 4 I believe, Squamata will get banished. And he will lose his board, but he could still win this game until the artifact Lancia happens. Meshach played this perfectly. He declared Light. He was waiting for the Lancia. Unfortunately, the Solemn Strike is going to prevent him from going any deeper. He's going to have to work with the cards he has instead of being able to activate King Long to be able to search and Chuchi to be able to increase his levels. Lancia is an amazing sideboard card, ladies and gentlemen, and if you guys want to see an amazing sideboard video, then go ahead and check out this sideboard video I'll put after Meshach plays his cards. So he's going to normal summon Virtual World Lulu and then activate Lily. He still has an amazing combo going forward from here. Using the effect of Lily, he can send a Chuchi from his deck to the graveyard. But as I was saying, if you guys wanted to see how we sideboard or what cards are really good for the sideboard, I have an amazing sideboard video, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead and check that out. Give that video a like as well as this one. It shows you guys the ins and outs of sideboarding as well as some really good cards. Who am I kidding? It just shows you the really good cards. I'll probably make a video about the ins and outs of sideboarding in a later video, but it shows you what's hot right now, and we're using most of them. So the Artifact Lancia is going to be way better right now as he can't banish, but he does have 2 monsters on his side of the field. I am wide open, so he's going to lose the Lulu and the Lily to attack for a good amount of damage, and now he's going to Synchro Summon. So now Meshach is Synchro Summoning into one of his more powerful monsters. He's going to make Cloud Castle to his side of the field, activating the effect of Cloud Castle to be able to special summon a level 9 monster from his graveyard to his side of the field. Keep in mind, his Shinshin was sent to the graveyard this turn, so he wouldn't be able to activate its effect to special summon itself. That was just me reminding him that he is under the effects of Dimensional Barrier for Exceed. So he can't make a Calamities this time around. It's really unfortunate for him. And he's also under Lancia. So it's a really good predicament for him to put me in. But unfortunately for him, he did special summon from the extra deck. I'm going to go ahead and use Shaddoll Fusion, the ultimate Punisher card, the card that will stop the opponent from stopping you. Meshach is going to go ahead and send Red Shaddoll Windy from his deck to the graveyard. Or I'm sorry, I'm going to send Red Shaddoll Windy from my deck to the graveyard, as well as the Shaddoll Squamata. Using both of those two monsters, I will fusion summon not into Shaddoll Construct. I actually need a different monster on my side right now. I need El Shaddoll Apcalone. Using its effect to be able to negate the Virtual World QB Senshin, it's actually really important for me to play Yu-Gi-Oh! This turn. I'll activate Red Shaddoll Windy's effect as well as Shaddoll Squamata. I'll be able to send a Shaddoll card from my deck to the graveyard as well as special summon. No need to worry about a Gamma because he has monsters on the field. I am a little worried about Ash though. So no Ash coming down, which is okay. I put Windy as Chain Link 1 anyways, even though I did need both of those card effects to pop off. I can imagine that I summon the Nel Shaddoll Aerial with the effect of Windy, and maybe still send the trap card to the graveyard with the effect. Yes, I'm going to send the Red Shaddoll Incarnation with the effect of Squamata. How you guys doing today? Have you talked to Squamata? I'm going to follow up by activating the effect of Red Shaddoll Incarnation to flip face up a monster by banishing Windy. Aerial's effect will trigger to spell summon said Windy back to the side of the field. And with two effect monsters on the field, I never thought I'd be doing this often. When I first read this card, I thought it wasn't that good, but Shaddoll Construct is actually a godsend for the deck. Now, of course, Shaddoll Construct allows me to fuse without needing the fusion, a spell card. I'll use her effects wisely. Right now, I'm trying to figure out what exactly I can do to get back or to get into this game. Meshach does have Cloud Castle, which has a hidden effect to be able to prevent, I think, level 8 or lower monsters from attacking that turn. That can protect the Shinshin. I'm going to use the effect of Shaddoll Construct of Fusion with the Apcalone into El Shaddoll Construct. And now I'll be able to gain her effect as well as El Shaddoll Apcalone to be able to add a monster or add a Shaddoll card and send a card from my hand to the graveyard, as well as send a Shaddoll card from my deck to the graveyard. This Shaddoll deck for a trap deck is popping off. My card of choice is initially the El Shaddoll Winda, but I'm actually going to go ahead and have a change of heart. I'm going to send a Shaddoll Hedgehog with the effect of Apcalone, adding it and discarding it to the graveyard, and a Shaddoll Schism. And now I'm going to use the effect of Shaddoll Hedgehog. Now, it's really important that I have enough light targets, but I guess I don't need it this time, as I'm going to add Shaddoll Beast with the effect of Hedgehog. And then I'm going to normal summon Riliona, the Magistus of Vare. This card is a godsend for the deck. The set that it came out of, Genesis Impact, has been amazing. But instead of this time adding the Invocation, I'm actually going to add the Vrita from my deck to my hand. Linking off Riliona, I'm going to make the Artemis Magistus Moon Maiden. And next I'm going to follow up by activating the Vrita to be able to special summon Riliona back to my side of the field. That was 2 free monsters. The fact that I haven't even normal summoned yet was catastrophic. This is a whoa moment if I have ever seen one. Activating the effect of Shaddoll Construct, I'll send Shaddoll Beast from my hand to the graveyard to special summon her. She just keeps coming back and keeps getting better as a card, guys. Not only that, I actually have a Shaddoll Schism in my graveyard. So if this doesn't necessarily plan out, I can link off into getting the Schism back into my hand and then pop Window on Meshach when he least expects it. Well, I mean, I guess he would expect it when he tries to special summon, so when he would least like it to. So now we are going to continue on with some insane plays. Since Artemis just so happens to be a spellcaster, I'll draw a card for the effect of Shaddoll Beast, but then I'll use Construct and the Artemis for a link summon It's a Selene, Queen of the Master Magicians. Since there are 3 spell cards in our graveyards, that communism going to work, our graveyard, guys, I'll be able to spell summon a spellcaster monster. Unfortunately, I don't spell summon a spellcaster monster here. Wendy's a psychic, but I do have a spellcaster monster in graveyard. If we would have caught that, it wouldn't have changed the game. Using both of those monsters for a link summon into IP Masquerena, and then Selene and IP into another link summon into Axis Code Talker. This allows me to destroy both the Cloud Castle and the Shin Shin and attack for game, as it is a 5300 attack monster. That was an amazing live duel, ladies and gentlemen. I have to say, it was definitely one of those whoa moments, as Shaddoll showed you how they can dominate in 2021. Of course, if you guys want to see a deck profile, destroy that like button, and always be sure to check out these other videos, as I'll catch you on the next one.